All right. So again, good morning, everybody. Like I said, your cameras can be off now. Again, at the beginning of every class, I need you to have your cameras on. So just that I know that you're ready to go. I don't make you keep them on the entire time. It just kind of helps you make sure that you're ready to start. Um, so one of the things that we are going to be doing this week is we are going to be reading Act Two. So we started Act Two last week. We read actually the majority of it. The Scene One is the longest part of Act Two. So we're going to be reading Act Two this week. Then next week, doing another brief write for Caesar. There are two brief writes and one performance task. So next week will be our second brief write. It'll be on Act Two. And then the performance task will be about Act Three. So again, basically after each act, there will be a writing piece. Obviously, I'll give you more time to work on the performance task since that is a full essay. And then after that, we are going to be, so this week we'll be reading Act Two. Then on Thursday or Friday, if you're in my other classes, but the second block day, we're going to be watching the movie and doing a discussion like we did last time. Just a reminder that discussion assignments can't be made up. So you have to do them in, you have to do them during class, at least before the due date. Because I know some people are absent, but you can't do it past the due date. Okay, thank you for letting me know about that. Appreciate it. Okay, so anyway, so today we are going to be reading Act Two, Scenes 2, 3, and 4, which I know sounds like a lot, but believe me, it's a lot shorter than it really is. Like I said, it's shorter than Scene 2, or Scene 1, I mean. So we're going to go ahead. We're going to start it afterwards. So basically, the majority of class is going to be focused on doing your dialectical journals. So let me go ahead and get that started. And I'm going to share my screen so you guys can follow along on the reading. Let me get all my stuff situated here. Anybody have any questions about the journal or the brief write again that was due last night? Act 1, Scene 3 should have already been done. That was an assignment for him a couple weeks ago. Yeah, so Act 1, Scene 3. Okay, well. Let's go ahead and get started. And again, when we're at the journals, we could go ahead and talk about that. But yes, Daniel, again, like I said, the rest of class is going to be you guys working on the dialectical journals from yesterday and today. So you will have time to work on that. Okay, so make sure you guys can hear this. So we're going to start with, again, Act 2, Scene 2. So basically what's just happened is that Brutus has finally agreed to join the conspiracy. Some of the things that he didn't agree to do, though, was he did not agree to kill Antony. The rest of the conspiracy wanted to kill Antony because they feel like he's going to, be upset that they killed his friend. Brutus said that it wouldn't be a noble thing to do because, they should only kill the one person who's causing problems, and they will deal with Antony if he needs to be dealt with, but they shouldn't preemptively kill him just in case, or else they'll look like butchers, essentially. Okay, so we're going to be starting with, and Decius is this whole scene is basically about Decius trying to convince Caesar to go to the Capitol because Caesar is superstitious a little bit, so he's kind of nervous about going. So that's what's happening in the scene.
Nor heaven nor earth hath been at peace tonight. Thrice hath Calpurnia in her sleep cried out, "Help, ho, they murder Caesar." Who's within?
My lord?
Go bid the priests do present sacrifice, and bring me their opinions of success.
I will, my lord.
What mean you, see?
Okay, I'm gonna pause real quick. Can you guys hear the audio? Okay, just making sure.
Caesar, think you to walk forth? You shall not stir out of your house today.
Caesar shall forth? The things that threatened me ne'er looked but on my back. When they shall see the face of Caesar, they are vanished.
Caesar, I never stood on ceremonies, yet now they fright me. There is one within, besides the things that we have heard and seen, recounts most horrid sights seen by the watch. A lioness hath whelped in the streets, and graves have yawned and yielded up their dead. Fierce, fiery warriors fought upon the clouds, in ranks and squadrons and right form of war, which drizzled blood upon the Capitol. The noise of battle hurtled in the air. Horses did neigh, and dying men did groan, and ghosts did shriek and squeal about the streets. Oh, Caesar, these things are beyond all use, and I do fear them.
Okay, so remember, just Calpurnia is Caesar's wife, and so they're basically having an argument right now. So Caesar and Calpurnia are having an argument about whether or not Caesar should go to the Capitol. Caesar wants to go. He's saying Caesar shall forth, and that basically is just like Caesar shall go forth. The things that threaten me never look but on my back, because the things that threaten me will never see me face to face, because I guess the best way to put it is that like he's too quick, or not necessarily quick, but like he is too elusive to be caught, essentially. And even if they saw the face of him, they are vanished because he's so imposing. So that's, Caesar's got a little bit of an ego on him. And then Calpurnia says, Caesar, I never stood on ceremonies. And when she's saying ceremonies, she's talking about like, again, like superstitious events. She's never believed them, and yet now they frighten me. But she's talking about like these visions of like a lioness, talking about some of the superstitious things that they saw in the streets, blood falling on the Capitol. So there's a lot of crazy stuff going on. So, all right, let's go ahead and pick up where Caesar is talking, where it says, what can be avoided?
What can be avoided whose end is purposed by the mighty gods? Yet Caesar for these predictions are to the world in general as to Caesar.
When beggars die, there are no comets seen. The heavens themselves blaze forth the death of princes.
Cowards die many times before their deaths. The valiant never taste of death but once. Of all the wonders that I yet have heard, it seems to me most strange that men should fear, seeing that death, a necessary end, will come when it will come.
Okay, so that was probably one of the more famous lines from the speech. So there's a few. One part of the reason why we read Julius Caesar and why we read Shakespeare in general is because it has had a very large impact on our society, pop culture. So there's definitely some like things that like it's good for people to know, just so that we all have this like common like kind of communal knowledge. So one of the things that Caesar said is, cowards die many times before their deaths. The valiant never taste of death but once. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit. Okay, so what do you all think that that means? Cowards die many times before their death. The valiant never taste of death but once. And if you don't know what valiant means brave. So what do you think that it means that cowards die many times before their death? And that the brave or valiant never taste of death but once. They only die once. So go ahead and type it up in the chat. Again, I want to make sure that we're all like paying attention and thinking about this, because again, I think this is a important kind of idea to have. And remember, I'm not making this an assignment, this is just a chat. So I do need people to be participating so I don't have to turn it into an assignment, because we should just be able to have a little chat about some of these ideas. Okay, thank you, Antoine. What does it mean that they die many deaths or many times before their deaths? Why do cowards die many times before they die? What does he mean by that? So again, right now we're just focusing on that first line. Why do cowards die many times before they die? Nice, Ryan. Okay. I like that everybody's answering with questions. Don't have to, again, there's just throw your best thought out there, it's, be confident in it though. Don't be afraid to say something. Why? Okay, let me phrase it this way. I think a lot of you are close. So if somebody is a coward, and everybody dies once, obviously, so we all have one like final death, but he's saying that cowards die many times. Okay, so I like that. Kaloni, that was simple and quick. They're not talking, but you can only die once, right? You can only, like, when you're dead, you're dead. You like have a physical death. But I think that Caesar, and like this goes back to what like Kaloni was saying, what Ryan was saying, that a lot of times people like Ryan said, like they lose their dignity, and how they like lose a piece of themselves. They die inside, like Kaloni was saying. So again, it's like you're losing a piece of yourself. So by being a coward, a part of you is dying inside, essentially. That's what he's kind of saying. The brave, the people who don't fear, the people who are unafraid, the valiant only die the one physical death. They don't lose a part of themselves. They don't, like, a part of their soul doesn't die, essentially. So that's what he's meaning by that. Like I said, this is a very famous line. And so I wanted to make sure that we kind of talked about it so that you understood it. Plus, I think it's just a good message, but we're going to go ahead and we're going to continue on. He's about to say, what say the augurers? And just an augurer is kind of like in the movie. We watched how the soothsayer was like kind of going through the insides of a chicken, and that's what an augurer would do. It's like it's like almost like reading palms, but instead of palms, they read like the organs and the insides of like animals to like see like, oh, their heart was in a weird place, so that means blank, or their stomach was twisted, or and so they would interpret like that. It's kind of gross, but you know, it's how they did it.
What say the augurers?
They would not have you to stir forth today. Plucking the entrails of an offering forth, they could not find a heart within the beast.
The gods do this in shame of cowardice. Caesar should be a beast without a heart, if he should stay at home today for fear. No,
Sorry.
Caesar shall not. Danger knows full well that Caesar is more dangerous than he. We are two lions littered in one day, and I the elder and more terrible. And Caesar shall go forth.
Alas, my lord, your wisdom is consumed in confidence. Do not go forth today. Call it my fear that keeps you in the house and not your own. We'll send Mark Antony to the Senate House, and he shall say you are not well today. Let me, upon my knee, prevail in this.
Mark Antony shall say I am not well, and for thy humour I will stay at home. Here's Decius Brutus, he shall tell them so.
Caesar, all hail! Good morrow, worthy Caesar. I come to fetch you to the Senate House.
And you are come in very happy time to bear my greeting to the senators and tell them that I will not come today. Cannot is false, and that I dare not falser. I will not come today. Tell them so, Decius.
Say he is sick.
Shall Caesar send a lie? Have I in conquest stretched mine arm so far to be afeard to tell greybeards the truth? Decius, go tell them Caesar will not come.
Most mighty Caesar, let me know some cause, lest I be laughed at when I tell them so.
The cause is in my will. I will not come. That is enough to satisfy the Senate. But for your private satisfaction, because I love you, I will let you know. Calpurnia here, my wife, stays me at home. She dreamt tonight she saw my statua, which like a fountain with 100 spouts did run pure blood. And many lusty Romans came smiling, and did bathe their hands in it. And these does she apply for warnings and portents and evils imminent, and on her knee hath begged that I will stay at home today.
Okay, so pretty intense dream that Calpurnia had there. So she dreamt that there was a statue of Caesar, and from that statue that there was 100 spouts. So like, you know, like literally a spout where like water would normally come out, but instead of water, blood came out. And many lusty Romans, and when he's saying lusty, he means like very excited and like happy Romans. They were smiling, they were bathing their hands in his blood, and because of this, he's gonna stay home. Again, he's telling Decius that like, you tell the senators that I will not come today, just because I shouldn't have to give an explanation. But I'll give you an explanation because you're my friend and I love you. So that's where he's at. Now, Decius, again, remember, is part of the conspiracy. So he is one of the guys who's planning on killing Caesar. So his job that they decided on in scene 1 was that he was going to go to Caesar. And they were afraid that Caesar wasn't going to come to the Capitol because he's been superstitious as of late. So he's going to the Capitol with the express intention of like convincing him and flattering him to come to the Capitol. So let's see how he's gonna interpret Calpurnia's dream.
This dream is all misinterpreted. It was a vision fair and fortunate. Your statue, spouting blood in many pipes, in which so many smiling Romans bathed, signifies that from you great Rome shall suck reviving blood, and that great men shall press for tinctures, stains, relics, and cognizance. This, by Calpurnia's dream, is signified.
And this way have you well expounded it.
I have, when you have heard what I can say, and know it now. The Senate have concluded to give this day a crown to mighty Caesar. If you shall send them word you will not come, their minds may change. Besides, it were a mock apt to be rendered for someone to say, brave.
Sorry, I lost my spot. Hold on. Okay, there we go.
Pick up the Senate till another time when Caesar's wife shall meet with better dreams. If Caesar hide himself, shall they not whisper, "Lo, Caesar is afraid"? Pardon me, Caesar, for my dear, dear love to your proceeding bids me tell you this, and reason to my love is liable.
Okay, so sorry, I didn't mean to lose my spot there, but so Caesar says, I'm not going because my wife had this dream where there was like a statue, with 100 spouts of blood. Romans were bathing in it. And Decius is like, no. This dream is all misinterpreted. You didn't, she didn't. You're saying this is like it's a bad thing, but it was a fair and fortunate vision. Your statue spouting blood in many pipes in which so many smiling Romans bathe signifies that you, basically from you, great Rome shall have reviving blood. So blood, obviously can signify death and violence and stuff like that, but it also technically can be symbolic of life, because obviously without blood we would be dead. So he's saying that, you're giving your life force to Rome, you're giving your blood to Rome so that way that they can give new life to Rome in a time where we need it. So that's basically all it means. And then Caesar's like, oh, that's a good way of explaining it, I never thought of it that way. And then Decius kind of puts like the cherry on top of his like argument, the thing that he knows will convince him to come. And that's basically that. Sorry, I keep going to the wrong page. Hold on a second. Oh, sorry, I went way too far back. Okay, so on this day, they will give a crown to mighty Caesar. If you shall send them word that you will not come, they might change their mind. So it's like, all right, they're going to give you a crown, but if you decide not to come, they might decide not to. Because, I mean, think of it. If I were to tell them, it's like, oh, Calpurnia is having bad dreams, so he's not coming today. So do we have to wait until Calpurnia has better dreams for you to come to get your crown? So, again, that's kind of like he's like challenging his manhood a little bit, and he's challenging his masculinity, but at the same time he's like kind of dangling that carrot of like, here's a crown, I know you want it, so come get it. So all right, let's go ahead and see how Caesar responds. I think we all know how he's going to respond though.
How foolish do your fears? I am ashamed I did yield to them. Give me my robe, for I will go. And look where Publius is come to fetch me.
Good morrow, Caesar.
Welcome, Publius. What Brutus are you stirred so early to? Good morrow, Casca. Caius Ligarius. Caesar was ne'er so much your enemy as that same ague which hath made you lean. What is the clock?
Caesar, 'tis struck an 8.
I thank you for your pains and courtesy. See, Antony that revels longer nights is notwithstanding up. Good morrow, Antony.
So to most noble Caesar.
Bid them prepare within. I am to blame to be thus waited for. Now, sinner, tell us, what Trebonius, I have an hour's talk in store for you. Remember that you call on me today. Be near me that I may remember you.
Caesar, I will. And so near will I be that your best friends shall wish I had been further.
Good friends, go in and taste some wine with me, and we, like friends, will straightway go together.
That every like is not the same, O Caesar. The heart of Brutus yearns to think.
Okay. So again, Decius's plan worked. He was able to convince Caesar to go to the Capitol. We see some of the conspirators are already there. Now, they're not all conspirators, obviously, like Antony's not. But again, so there are some conspirators who are already there. So they will have to figure out how to like split the people up a little bit, the people who support Caesar, how to get rid of them so that they could kill Caesar. So this next scene is literally just this line from Artemidorus, which Artemidorus, he's a very, very minor character, and I know it's a tricky name to say. So if you just want to refer to him as Art, when you type up his name, type it up, but if you just want to refer to him as Art, I'm totally cool with that. But basically he's like found out who, I keep changing the screens, I apologize. Okay, but he's basically found out who the conspirators are, and it shows that like here on scene 3 that he's reading this paper. He's wanting to get to Caesar ahead of time to warn him of all the conspirators who are planning on killing him. So that's where we're going to be starting right now.
Caesar, beware of Brutus. Take heed of Cassius. Come not near Casca. Have an eye to Cinna. Trust not Trebonius. Mark well Metellus Cimber. Decius Brutus loves thee not. Thou hast wronged Caius Ligarius. There is but one mind in all these men, and it is bent against Caesar. If thou be'st not immortal, look about you. Security gives way to conspiracy. The mighty gods defend thee, thy lover, Artemidorus. Here will I stand till Caesar pass along, and as a suitor will I give him this. My heart laments that virtue cannot live out of the teeth of emulation. If thou read this, O Caesar, thou mayst live. If not, the fates with traitors do contrive.
Okay, so that was literally, whoa. Hold on. There we go. So that was literally all of scene 3. And so basically it just is like, imagine we're watching the movie, right? So we just watched Decius convince Caesar to go down to the Capitol. They're getting ready to walk. And then the camera cuts to another scene. And now we're just looking at Artemidorus. He's like reading the paper. He's basically reading his letter and saying that like, here's a list of all the people you can't trust. And I'm just gonna stand here in the streets on this way to the Capitol. I know he's gonna walk there, and I will make sure to hand him this paper as he's walking to the Capitol. So, because if he says it out loud, then the conspirators might just kill him. But if he could read the paper ahead of time, he might be able to, get out of the assassination, which obviously we know doesn't happen. Again, it's in the name here, Tragedy of Julius Caesar, so we know it's not going to work, but that's okay. It gives a little bit of a drama to it. All right, and so now we're in the last scene now. So this is Act 2, Scene 4. So we're going to just read this real quick, and then we will be done with Act 2, and then we're going to be working on our journals. So remember, Portia is Brutus's wife, and Lucius is the servant.
Stay not to answer me, but get thee gone. Why dost thou stay?
To know my errand, madam.
I would have had thee there and here again, ere I can tell thee what thou shouldst do there. Oh, constancy be strong upon my side. Set a huge mountain between my heart and tongue. I have a man's mind, but a woman's might. How hard it is for women to keep counsel. Art thou here yet?
Madam, what should I do? Run to the Capitol and nothing else, and so return to you and nothing else?
Yes. Bring me word, boy, if thy lord look well, for he went sickly forth. And take good note what Caesar doth, what suitors press to him. Hark, boy. What noise is that?
I hear none, madam.
Prithee, listen well. I heard a bustling rumour like a fray, and the wind brings it from the Capitol.
Sooth, madam, I hear nothing.
Come hither, fellow. Which way hast thou been?
Sorry, hold on.
Good lady.
Okay, so basically Portia is saying, all right, Lucius, go to the Capitol. And Lucius is like, why am I going to the Capitol? And she's telling him, just go. And he's like, but I don't know why I'm going. Why are you sending me to the Capitol? What am I supposed to do when I get there? Should I just go there, do nothing, and then come back? Is that what you're wanting? And obviously Portia like knows what's going down. So because she's like, take note of Caesar, what suitors press to him. If you look at the middle here, it says aside, and it showed that on the previous scene too, or in scene 2. Where Trebonius says, Caesar, I will, aside. And so near I will be that this is called a stage direct. And it says aside in those little brackets like that. The characters literally aren't saying the words aside. And aside is when like Trebonius here or Brutus here or Portia here An aside is where they like talk directly to the audience. It's almost like Deadpool when he like breaks the fourth wall, essentially. That would be considered an aside. And that's basically like where they're talking directly to the audience. None of the other characters can hear that part of the conversation, only the audience. So it's like essentially it's them breaking the fourth wall. Even Shakespeare was doing that in his time. So it's not just a Deadpool thing. But anyway, so let's go ahead and continue reading. Enter Artemidorus. So let's see what happens here.
What is the clock?
The 9th hour, lady?
Is Caesar yet gone to the capital?
Madam, not yet. I go to take my stand to see him pass on to the capital.
Thou hast some suit to Caesar, hast thou not?
That I have, lady. If it will please Caesar to be so good to Caesar as to hear me, I shall beseech him to befriend himself.
Why? Knowst thou any harms intended towards him?
None that I know will be. Much that I fear may chance. Good morrow to you. Here the street is narrow. The throng that follows Caesar at the heels of senators, of praetors, common suitors, will crowd a feeble man almost to death. I'll get me to a place more void, and there speak to great Caesar as he comes along.
I must go in. Ay me, how weak a thing the heart of woman is. O Brutus, the heavens speed thee in thine enterprise. Sure, the boy heard me. Brutus hath a suit that Caesar will not grant. Oh, I grow faint. Run, Lucius, and commend me to my lord. Say I am merry. Come to me again, and bring me word what he doth say to thee.
All right. So again, that was just kind of more establishing what was going on. So again, in fact, they pretty much just cut that part out of the movie, which we will see on Thursday. So that was basically it. Like I said, it was, let's see, 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 10 pages. So it was 10 pages long, and scene 1 itself was 13 pages. So obviously, like I said, what we read today was a lot shorter. Anyway, so what I'm going to have you all do is I'm going to have you continue working on your journals. So the journals, I want them to be finished. Like I said, I know we were starting it yesterday. You can work with the same people from the breakout rooms from yesterday. So I'm not necessarily going to put you in the breakout rooms, but you should be able to still be on the same documents as yesterday. So I will, I'm just going to leave you here right now, and then we're going to just continue working on it. If you need to put stuff in the chat, you can. I'm going to make it to where you can chat to one another if you need to. All right, and then I'm going to go ahead and turn this off. So again, we're just working on the journals right